Hi, in this section, in this video, we're going to learn the first topic in arithmetic, which is whole numbers. So whole numbers are just numbers without a point, like 2, 3, 4, numbers that we use to count. For example, 4.5 is not a whole number. But what do we do here in the Accuplacer? It is simple. The first thing that we do, that you'll be tested on, will be simple operations. And trust me, they'll just ask you to multiply or divide. So for example, addition. So to add. Simple. It's just to remember when you are adding numbers, they have to be in the same line of power of tens. And I'll explain that with 7. So what they want you to know is when you're adding or subtracting numbers, they have to be on the same line. The units, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and so on. So here it's just a simple addition. 9, 1 plus 3, 4, 6 plus 8, 14, and 1 at the top here. 1 plus 8, 9, and 7. So that just that basic. Again, if you are having problems with addition like this, just add it to the comment, and I can have another video just for addition and subtraction. So the other thing in addition, in operations, is subtraction. When you add, you have to subtract too. So in subtraction, is the same system in the same way that you do addition, but there's one thing. Let's say 7, 8, 9, 0 minus 8, 1, 4. For those who are not familiar, when you have a big number, 0 minus 4, you see 0 is less than 4, you have to add something here, like 1. And then you say 10 minus 4 is 6. And that one here comes down to here. It's just the opposite of the addition with a number higher than 9. So that one comes down here, and then the next time you take the subtraction, it's 9 minus 2. So this 1 and this 1. So 9 minus 2 is 7. And then since we didn't use any 1 here, there's no need to have another 1 at the bottom here. So we continue. 8 minus 8 is 0, and 7 minus, if you see nothing to the left side, it just means 0. The 7 minus 0 is 7, and that's your answer. So what you should watch out for in subtraction is just when the number is less. So I usually take 0 when the number at the top is less than the number on the bottom that you're subtracting. Let's say 5. You borrow 1 here to make it 10, and then minus. When you are done with this, you have to return the one that you borrowed down here, and then continue. And that's mostly it. That's what you do in subtraction. And after subtraction, of course, there is multiplication. Multiplication, the main concept here is knowing the table of multiplication from 2 to 9. And that's it. 2 times 1 equals 2, and so on. For example, the key thing here is knowing the table, the multiplication table. So multiplication table. So that's 1. The second thing is knowing how to use, I would call it reserves. I'll show an example later. So let's say we have 72 times 24. Never ever do like this. 2 times 4, like addition. 2 times 4, 8. 7 times 2, 14. Never. Don't ever do that. What you should do instead, when you have multiplications, so 72 times 24, it doesn't matter what multiplication you have, always do this. Take the first number to the right, okay? So the first number to the right, and then multiply the top number from right to left. So one by one. 4 times 2. So if you don't know 4 times 2 is, of course, 2 times 4. It's the same thing. So 8. 4 times 7, that is 28. And since we're at the end, we just write 28. And then you don't write anything at the bottom of the last column of the last digit, because we are saving it for this number. So next to the left, we have 2. So 2 times 4 is 4. 2 times 7 is 14. And then you do simple addition. And the point is just 0, if you will. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 3 plus 4 is 7. And 0 plus 1 is 1. And that's it. And of course, you don't have to take that much time to do this. I will show you methods you can use to save you time instead of taking this much time to find the answer. Because it's multiple choice questions, you don't need to take this much time. But this is the real skill that you are testing you to have to make sure you have it. So next is the division. 3471 divided by, I will go to 2 digits, 25. So the way division works, it's the opposite of multiplication and addition. You start from the left side. So you take the first number of digits that is possible to divide with the divisor, which means if we take 3 one digits, we cannot divide 3 into 25. No. So we move on. 34, yes, 34 is bigger than 25, so we can divide. And how many times we have 25 and 34? Of course, it's 1. And then 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. So that is 9. And then you add the next number down, 7. So 97 by 25, that would be 3. 3 times 5 is 15. So 1 somewhere. 3 times 2 is 17. I mean, is 6 plus 1 is 7. And then we subtract. We have 2 and 2, and then 1. So 221 divided by 25, of course, that would be 8, I believe. So 8 times 25. If you take the time, that would be 200, and the rest is 21. And that's it. So the division, usually they will give you something that would end with 0, or they ask you what is the rest, and so on. But this is how you do the division. And that's it. So remember, we said in whole numbers, we're still in whole numbers. In whole numbers, what you are being tested on is number 1, operations, so basic ones. And number 2 is word problems using those operations. I'll just call it word problems. So what's a word problem? Say I have 5 bags, and each bag contains 10 10 pebbles. How many? So I said per bag. How many pebbles do I have in total? So this is like an example word problem. The question here is, how do you use one of those 4 operations to solve a basic life problem? And that's it. So you guessed it right. 5 bags and 10 pebbles, and each bag, the operation should be multiply. So 5 times 10 equals 50. That's it. Now, how do you know right away which operation to use? So I have some tips for you. Number 1 is look for the word each. If you have something that says in the problem statement, in explaining the situation, they use the word each, that means you have to use, most of the time, 99% of the time, you will use multiplication. You will multiply. When you have, I guess, call it comma and, what this does is, of course, when you are asked, actually, you should add total or in all, those keywords would show you that is actually addition. And one of the things to look for when they are citing things, let's say $3 and the other one's $5, this is when you know that they are adding them together. So I bought a pen for $10, a pencil for $15. It's not realistic, but so you see dollar, dollar. So most of the time it is addition. But in the each, they don't necessarily have the same units. Most of the time they don't. So always look out for the same unit, and using comma and the keyword and the question. In the question, they will ask you what is the total or how much in all, something like that. So this is the addition. Now, when do you subtract? Just look out for words that mean take away. And that should be abuse. Take away, you will know it's subtraction. And number 4 is when they ask you, it's similar to the multiplication, but They start with a big, let's say, big entity, a big group, then ask, in the question they ask, each, let's say, a bag of pencils costs $20, and in the bag there is 5 pencils. So don't worry about what they say here that much. Okay, it's just numbers. The question should give it away. They will ask, how much does 1 pencil cost? Or how much does each pencil cost? So look for each or one or a single in the question, and you have it. So asking for how much a pencil costs, you would always take, okay, take the other unit divided by the question unit. Hope that makes sense. So in the sentence, the other unit that they didn't ask you about, take that unit divided by the one they're asking, how much is each thing is costing, take and divide by that unit. And this is basically the word problem, how to master that. And we are at the end of theoretically whole numbers questions, and remember it's between 3 to 5 questions. So if you master this already, you have 15 to 25% of the score already. So we will see examples later. See you soon.